What's up guys, Mystery here with the second 13 Juliet video. This is going to cover training whenever you're out in the field because our job is a field job. So before I was in the field, I didn't know exactly what we did, like in the field wise. So I was in the desert, White Sands Missile Range for 2 months. Not straight, we came back and forth a couple times, but I was in there and I learned a lot while I was in the desert for 2 months. And first things first, the training that we received in the AIT is not enough. There's a lot more to our job than I knew, and it kind of sucks because AIT didn't train us for everything. I thought they would, but apparently not, and that's for a lot of MOSs. They don't give you the right training. They'll give you the important training, but they won't show you every little thing that you end up doing. So I'm here to tell you guys what you do. So basically, in AIT, you learn how to use the box, and the box operator is only one position in the whole FDC. There are 4 positions in the FDC, and the one that you'll mostly be doing because you're the brand new private or brand new specialist, whatever, brand new to the FDC, you're going to be setting up the OE, and the OE is basically, it's like a cable antenna. There's 2 different ones. There's one that's like a kind of like a satellite. There's one that's kind of like a radio tower, and then there's one that you hook up and it's like a satellite. You just like crank it up. Now, we're gonna start with the easiest one is the OE, and you put it on top of this little piece that's on top of the 1068. If you don't know what a 1068 is, check out my Instagram. It's gonna be far down. It's gonna look like a tank, but it's not a tank. But basically, you take this little P-cone like thing. It looks like you take this little machine. If you ever played Battlefield 3, it looks like a tug. It's like a little cone-shaped thing with 3 legs on the side to keep it balanced. You screw that on top of this one piece. You take a cable that runs from the track. That's the 1068 is also called a track. You take that one cable piece that's running from below, and you hook it up to the OE, and then whoever's at the very bottom cranks up the OE, and you basically just make sure the wire doesn't get caught, and you just crank it up till it's like super high, like 40 feet or something like that. You just crank it all the way up, and then that pretty much gives a signal to connect to all the guns that are out there. And if we need more signal, that's when we bust out the radio tower. And there's 2 ways of setting it up. There's the super hard annoying ass way, and there's the okay, you better be just strong enough way. So we're gonna start with the hardest way. That sucks ass. You set it up on the ground. Now, before you set it up, there's these pipes that connect it. The pipes are what what holds it in the air, and then what you're actually holding in the air is like a little little cone-like object. It has like a big circle, and then there's like a square middle, and it also has little holders for little cable like things. So you screw in all the cables all around this little cone, and then you put the cone on top of a pipe, and then you raise the pipe up. You'll get one guy, because this pipe is huge. This ain't no tiny ass pipe. This thing is really big. Okay, so if you don't screw on the wires all the way, they could fall out and they could land on somebody's head, and it's gonna hurt like a bitch. So one guy will run, and he'll like charge and like hold it up, and you're holding up this super huge thing, and it's probably going to be windy, so you got to like kind of fight it, like lean it on you or something like that. And the other guy is going to run around, and because there's going to be little wires that you also had hooked up to it, you got to take the wires. There's going to be a stake, and you just put the wires on the stake. There's like 4. There's supposed to be 4, but we use 3 to save time. The long wire is usually taped to the pipe. That's if your FDC does that to save time. It's like a shortcut. So once it's hanging, once you have all the little ropes into the ground, it should be holding up by itself. Like I said, that's the hardest part because that thing takes time. Like the fastest you got to do it is in 10 or not 10 minutes. It's 20 minutes. That's the fastest you got to do it within 20 minutes. Me and my partner got it done within 15 minutes and something seconds, and our fastest group of people that can do it in 12 minutes. So it's annoying to do. If you keep doing it, of course you'll understand, but it's super annoying having to put all the stuff on it and then take all the stuff back off when it's time to move. And then there's the other way that's easier, but you just gotta be strong to do it. It takes only 2 people, usually 3, because 3 is way better than just 2. So like I said, you know, when you raise it up from the ground, well, instead you build the pipes up, you know, you put the antennas on, the ropes, all that, blah blah blah. It's gonna be on the side of the 1068. You're gonna be on top of it with your partner, usually with your partner. That's why I say 3 is better, because both of you are gonna have to lift this huge ass, heavy ass thing, and it's probably gonna be windy. So you gotta fight the wind and make sure you don't fall off and like hurt yourself. You're gonna have to pick this thing up and put it inside these 2 slots that are on top of the 1068. So you gotta pick it up and then slam that bitch down, because you gotta like try and shove it in there, because it might be, you know, dusty and dirty. So there might be dirt and stuff that gets in the way, and you gotta just slam it in there so it actually goes inside of the holding spot. Now, after that, you just take some rope that's on it already and you just tie it somewhere, like tie it to a Humvee, tie it to the side of the track, maybe get a stake and stake one far away. Just make sure it's standing up on its own. And that is so annoying. Like, I wish I got training on that in AIT, because I didn't know anything about that, and I'm not allowed to even touch the box, because there's a box operator, there's the radio guy, there's the chief, and then there's the FIDO. And the only way to get box operator is if you're better than the other person on the box. But if you don't get any training on the box, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. So you can always try and be the radio guy, but that's the most stressful ass job, because you got to sit there and yell everything the box operator is saying into a microphone so the guns know what's going on, and you're writing down at the same time trying to make sure everything you say is correct. It's the most stressful job. Box operator is the easiest / most important. Setting up the antennas are the most important, because if you don't set those up, you can't talk to the guns anyway. But really, the box is the most important. And then you got setting up the satellite, or the radio, the antennas, which is super annoying and terrible. Like, if I knew about that, I would have been like, heck no, I ain't with this, because AIT did not train me at all. Like, if I was to suggest anything, it's take a week out of AIT. Like, after radios, you go straight into setting up the antennas, and then you go do the box, because all that time for the box is not really that necessary, because the box is pretty simple. Like, it's hard at first, but really once you get it down, it's nothing. Instead of doing the same fire missions over and over, red gumballs, green gumballs, instead of doing that, have 1 week of just setting up the antennas and stuff, because that right there on the job training, I was so mad because I didn't know anything about it. And it was very frustrating in the beginning, because you don't know what you're doing. It's just very annoying, very tiring, and it just sucks. But that's pretty much how it was for me in the field. You know, I wasn't even doing my job a lot of the time in the field, like setting up the antenna. I did that a couple times, and then eventually I got put on KP, kitchen patrol, and basically you just wash dishes, take out trash. I mean, you get to charge your phone at all times. You can just chill on your phone when it's not time to do dishes or whatever. But 2 months is very terrible. So there's that. But that's pretty much it. Just set up the satellite or antenna, and then sit back and chill, wait till it's time to tear the bitch down, and then put it up, and then drive off, and then set it up all over again. That's pretty much it. So that's part 2 of 13 Juliet. Hey, you know, I made it sound good in the beginning, because I thought it was good in the beginning, but of course everything has its downsides, and that's going to be one of the downsides when you first join, because you're going to be private. You're going to be at the lowest rank, so you're going to be the one setting up and doing all the bullshit while everybody just sits back and watches. It sucks. That's how it is. That's Mr. R on 13 Juliet Part 2. Part 3 coming later on in the year, probably next year, when we go ahead and hit that deployment, baby. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.